This is your musical recipe. Serve it hot, one time.
Hi, my name is Capp, Linford, and I'm from Jamaica.
Linford Anderson, better known as Andy Capp, was a radio engineer and recording studio engineer from Jamaica. He started at RJR Radio Studios in 1959 as a log keeper and elevated to chief engineer. Now, when you search for music, you search deep, don't you?
Yeah. Sure do, man. Okay, we got one of them without a label.
At clubs and spinning music.
Well, playing at clubs is tough. It's tough. Depends on your crowd. But it's a lot of fun, though. Coxsone lived only by music.
Mm-hmm.
Coxsone had a record store, one of the biggest record stores in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, liquor store, I'm sorry. He had a liquor store.
To agree.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was his main thing. He wasn't even in the studio when we were recording.
Mm-hmm.
He would come up there, and if he didn't like what it was going, he would draw his gun and fire it in the air a couple of times, and everybody would start playing immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He never leaves his gun.
Mm.
He has it at all times. And so he would just come up and listen to what's going. You know, he depends on the engineer and the artist and the musicians.
What made him get into the music if he didn't need the music?
Well, he had to go into producing his own music because he had a sound system.
Mm-hmm.
He had Duke Reed, whatever.
Trojan.
You know, these big boxes, these big speaker boxes,
Mm-hmm.
and these amplifiers that you can't even lift.
Yeah.
Everybody had it. Coxsone
Yeah.
had one, and then people used to say, "Oh, Duke Reed is better than Coxsone." Then you have other sounds, around. But these guys, they had the resource because he had a liquor store, and Coxsone had his recording studio, so they were making money,
Mm-hmm.
from selling records. So they would compete on each other. Now you have to record a new song if you're gonna play it this Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
especially you're gonna play in the same vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
So they would go in the studio and say, "Listen, I need 2 good songs for tonight, Saturday night, big dance."
Mm-hmm.
And they would go in there and they would record that. That's why he needed the studio. He had to have a studio. Save him from renting or going here or there to record. So he had his own studio. He went and he bought his own equipment and set it up upstairs. Little room. It wasn't even what's that? Maybe 12 by 12.
Yeah.
That's a small little room.
Yeah.
The drummer and that's it. And everybody was like beside each other.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
You never worked for Coxsone, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. Ah.
Yeah,
Tell me
I
about
worked
tell me
for
about
Coxsone.
that. Tell me about that.
When I was at RJR, before I
Okay.
went into Dynamic Sound, before I went to West Indies, I would go over there. As a matter of fact, I found Marcia Griffith.
Hmm.
I'm the one who found her.
Where at? Tell me that story.
She used to live on the street where I used to hang out with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew her. And then she knew that I used to work at RJR.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, "If you work at RJR, you probably know somebody who could record my song." I said, "I don't know." At the time, I knew Coxsone. And I tell her to come up there. And I went up there. Coxsone talked to her, and before you know it, she's recording.
Hmm.
Marcia Griffith.
And look what happened to her. Oh boy, she's really come a long way in terms of the
Yeah,
Marley Association.
Exactly right.
Who would ever thought
Mhm.
the Marley family or Bob Marley would have had such an impact on the world? It's
Yeah.
it's amazing how far it's carried.
Right.
In working with Coxsone Dodd, did you see some of the greatness in Coxsone Dodd early?
Yeah, that was where everybody would go.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, Coxsone was one of the earlier ones. I had left them out earlier. I left him out earlier, but he was there. He might have been the second studio, I think,
Mm-hmm.
in Jamaica after West Indies. Because West Indies used to record these mental things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the very first one was Baba Moto.
Yeah.
That was on Church Street.
Stanley Moda.
Yeah, right,
yeah.
exactly. Whatever.
And a lot of calypsos there, a lot of mental
Yeah,
recordings.
right.
Yeah.
And then West Indies record.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think
Coxsone.
right.
Okay.
Coxsone was so popular. He had a big backyard, mango trees and stuff back there. And you'll see all these artists back there. Bob Marley with his guitar. He was there, young kid.
Mm-hmm.
Delroy Wilson. Heptones, guys, they're all there. You would have Dan Drummond. They would probably be in the studio with Scatterlights. If they're not, then they'd come outside, pop a smoke here and there, eat food. Some guys would have a beer, and it was like a party every day there. And I'd pass by, going see Coxsone there, sitting there, just practicing. Bob Marley, some singing, another group, and it's a big place. And one group over there singing, "Oh, do you know harmonies?" It was fun them days, man. I'm telling you.
He was really, I guess, a leader of people. Could you say that?
Who?
Coxsone. He seemed to kind of people. Maybe it's just because he had the studio and he put it together. He was a planner, or he was a leader of people. I don't know.
Yeah, Coxsone was so cool, man. Let me tell you, they called him the cool cat.
Yeah.
He was a cool guy. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
This is the low. This is the low. I have to correct you. This is the low.
This is your musical recipe. Serve it hot. One time.
Linford Anderson, better known as Andy Capp. Over his career, he worked as an engineer at Whirl Studio, Dynamic Sounds, Federal, Studio One, Beverly's. He worked for Joe Gibbs, Bunny Lee, Lee Perry at Black Ark, and for the great Duke Reed at Treasure Isle.